We keep on hearing about blockchain technologies, Internet of Things, data mining, and big data and robotics. The focus of our next discussion would be how these new technologies are affecting ERP implementation, and our next speaker is Mr. Salman Dar from IT Rus, Pakistan. A big round of applause for Mr. Salman Dar, please. Thank you.
I know it's quite late and we are already running late, so I've been requested to speed up the thing. I'll probably not like to take a long time here. Before we start about the new technologies, what I would like to is it not working? Is it off? Okay. I will like to see how we have reached where we are. We have been discussing about MRP, we have talked about ERP, but let's see how it has evolved in the industry. After the Industrial Revolution, start of the second or end of the Industrial Revolution, the demand for the consumer goods with the economy stabilizing after the Second World War start increasing. And at the start of 60s, the requirement for the technology solutions also started increasing. At this time, one of the key for the production facility was to see from where we can get the material. So the concept of material requirement planning start coming in. And that's the time when SAP came into being. And they just started with this concept. In early 70s, SAP came in. Towards end of 70s, it was Oracle, which started coming from the database structure, but gradually moved into the financial domain. Over the period of time, MRP2 come in, which was manufacturing resource planning, which was the version 2, or we call it MRP2, which has enabled people to go more into detailed production planning just and from the material planning. Meanwhile, PeopleSoft started working based on the people thing. So if we look towards the end of 90s, we have SAP looking at mainly production, Oracle looking at financials, and PeopleSoft looking at the HR thing. So there was no convergence. But then comes the late 90s when Y2K issues start emerging, where people start thinking about replacing their legacy in-house built system. And then the concept of ERP start coming along at that time to see how we can look into these systems as a convergence. Some of the people started developing their own system, like SAP starting working more on the financial side, but on the other side, like Oracle, they start acquiring systems like PeopleSoft. So when we came into after Y2K, after the basically .NET bubble burst in early this century, things start moving into the clouds. And the number of solutions start coming in like Salesforce.com. We start hearing about Salesforce just 3-4 years ago. But Salesforce.com actually started in 1999. It's a pre-.NET bubble burst era. So that's where things start coming in, and gradually with the internet increasing and the capacity of fiber optic going to every place, the things are starting moving into the cloud. And more and people start moving to the tools, so more the data is being collected, so there's a lot of requirement coming from the reporting, and then the BI concept also start coming in. So gradually different leaders in the industry have worked on their own solutions, and they have worked on acquiring the solutions to provide the comprehensive solution, proposal to their clients. So after the background, currently we are looking at cloud. Everybody is talking about cloud, and cloud seems to be the future. We have ERPs are still on-prem, especially in Pakistan. And we have seen in this slide earlier that people are moving toward the SaaS model and to the cloud model, and that's going to happen in near future. The whole of the on-prem concept of the ERP is going to go away. But with this thing, what we are seeing is there are a lot of new connectivity. We have talked about a lot of these devices. We have talked about IoT, wearable, connected devices. We have been discussing about BI and AI. There are a couple of things which we have not discussed in lot details is blockchain, NoSQL, and APIs. The concept of APIs is going to go great time because once you start connecting these devices, these equipment into your ERPs and getting the feed directly from the devices instead of human inputting the feeds, then it's going to revolutionize the thing. And all ERP companies, they are not going to provide every solutions because we have in the discussion, we have discussed there are a lot of instances when there are solutions which are required, but the ERP does not have and they are not ready to customize it. So the interfacing of the things will come along. We'll just have an example of a company who have Oracle Sales Cloud. They wanted to have a dedicated lead management system. So a third-party lead management system was automatically integrated using the API. So they don't need to go and have these complete system develop and wait for the vendor to either develop their system or to acquire a system and provide the service. So the concept of API is going to dramatically change the way the things are being done. Similarly, NoSQL is where the big data comes in. So we are talking about flat files. ERP is conventionally a structured database, which is tables and rows and columns. This thing is going to go away. But how we are going to accommodate into our ERPs this solution is a big challenge coming forward, which needs to be addressed and which is going to be addressed soon. Blockchain is where there's a lot of hype. Bad name for blockchain is Bitcoins. Most of the people just simply start talking about Bitcoins, and in Pakistan, when we talk about blockchain, I'll give you the example. There was a company who was doing some ICO development for an American client, a software house. Their payment come from abroad, and the remittance has a detail that it has ICO payment. And before the bank informed the software house, FIA people were there in the software house to confiscate their equipment that you are working on cryptocurrencies, which is illegal, or ICOs, which are illegal in Pakistan. But gradually, people have started realizing that blockchain has to offer us more than just cryptocurrencies and ICOs. Business process. Key feature of blockchain is it is distributed. So it is almost 100% tamper-proof. So it is very difficult. And the other key feature is it can eliminate the third parties. So the trust rate. For example, the biggest project right now is happening in the world on the blockchain is between IBM and Maersk, which is the shipping line. So they are trying to revolutionize the whole supply chain, global supply chain. And one of the key things which they are looking at is eliminating the need for letter of credit. Business needs the letter of credit because the shipping party and the receiving party, they don't trust each other. So if you put the system on the blockchain where the execution can be done automatically and there's auto SLMA settlements, then you don't need that. They have a lot of custom government regulatory organization. They have a lot of private sector companies, shipping line, more than 50 shipping lines has already joined the venture, but banks are still resisting that. Few banks, small banks have joined them, but most of these banks are resisting them because they can see their huge revenue. Normally, an LC cost will use around 3 to 4% of the shipping cost. And if you can get rid of the requirement of the LC and the direct transfer of money can happen, because the devices can detect where the equipment, where the shipment is, where the container is. IoTs can do that. Once you put it, it goes in. When it reaches the designation port, it can pick it up automatically, and blockchain can transfer the money automatically, so SLA can be automatically settled. So these are the type of changes which blockchain can bring in. I'll have a very small example of a case study of a blockchain. There is in Pakistan, there is quite a big housing society which is there. They have their Oracle Sales Cloud. They have all their ERP already working there. And they have been talking about there might be issue that somebody can tamper the record of the registry of a person. If I own a plot and somebody else want to buy it, there is no, some staff can go in and they can tamper. We have talked about the requirement of security a lot today. So there is an issue. And they wanted to use blockchain tamper-proof record concept to get rid of the issue. But on the other hand, they didn't want it to change their system. So when we looked at the solution, what we looked at that the key thing is in Oracle, they have their system logs. So all transactions are being logged. Even if it's done out of the system or in the system, the database keeps the log. So just putting by their transaction and the log onto a blockchain, they were able to resolve the problem. So there are some very small things, and when we talk about the new technology, sometimes we say it's going to replace the things. I don't think so it's going to happen. It's going to integrate into our existing systems. And there we can use them for the betterment. And one thing which we need to look into at that stage is it going to solve the business problem? We as technologies normally go and try to sell technology and sell the benefits of the technology. Users do not need benefits. You don't need technology. And they simply need a solution to their problem. I'll give you an example. One of the big CEOs of FTSE 10, UK 10 biggest company, I was having a discussion with him, and he was talking about business information and IT, and I say, how I can help you as a business consultant. And his answer was very simple. Salman, I need a car to go and do my weekly grocery. And IT is promising me Ferrari in 3 years' time. I'll be happy to have a Ferrari in 3 years' time, but shall I carry my bags home from Texaco every weekend in my hand? They need a solution which is workable for their problem, not a Ferrari which they can get in 3 years' time, which will be working, but it will be too much costly for their solution. So that's it from my side, a quick one, and thank you very much. Any question, I'm available for next few minutes over here to cover. Thank you.